Hello everybody, I am Joey from the Chart Guys. I've been a trader and technical analyst for 7 years, and I'm here to talk about some crypto as we got Bitcoin testing resistance. We know we've been in a tightening range for a couple weeks now, and we're starting to take out some levels within. So we're going to look through the charts. We're going to look at what's going on with ETH because right now it has some relative weakness. We'll look at some hot alts like Jasmy. We'll look at some alts that have potential incoming opportunity, while noting that this is certainly the Bitcoin show now. So let's pop over to the charts and start chugging on through. So here we got Bitcoin. We'll zoom out a little bit. So we know we've had this weekly bounce, and the big question is going to be, are we going to get a weekly lower high compared to all-time highs and tighten on up, or are bulls going to try and go crack to new all-time highs? Well, the action here today is a point in favor for the latter, but as always, anytime you're breaking a resistance level, you need to find acceptance up and over that. And we are decently extended on the break, so it's not really an environment conducive for follow through. But that being said, if bears were going to prove anything, they would need to take out 4-hour 12 EMA. And at this point, we have a lot of room for a 4-hour higher low compared to 68.567. In the short term here, we're going to be watching 15-minute 12 EMA and the 15-minute uptrend. So as long as 15-minute 12 EMA is support, there's no 4-hour consolidation shaping up. If we lose that 15-minute 12 EMA, 4-hour consolidation shaping up, we'll zoom out to the 4-hour 12 EMA. As long as that is support, then bulls maintain favor in terms of seeing follow through on the bull break of the first level in this tightening range. So that level was 70.7K, and we've cracked it at this point. So next resistance we're looking at is 72K. Then we've got 72.8, and then all-time high, 73.777. So Bitcoin bulls are loving it. And if we look at Bitcoin dominance, we can see that Bitcoin is dominating. So as has been the case for quite some time now, 2-week 12 EMA is the guide here. And yet again, we've got another bounce off of it. And it did come through the daily inverse head and shoulders that we mapped out in the stream last week. So at this point, weekly bounce underway, and we will have to keep our eyes out for a weekly lower high. And here's what alt bulls would love to see is let this bounce continue on, have Bitcoin control the show for a little bit, but then get a weekly lower high and have Bitcoin dominance come down and have that be Bitcoin just going sideways or chilling, and then all of our alts that are in 2-day tightening ranges, pop them and go to the upside, because those alts are all still just chilling. We got this big old list. They're all just chilling in range. And then we've got the list of the bull breakers. And really the bottom half of this list, they're all still just chilling in range too. Slight bull breaks without follow through. So there's not a ton going on in the alt space as a whole. We certainly have some alts getting some juice like Jasmy. We got Uni with a decent day here today. So we'll go look through the alts in a bit. But we'll stick with Bitcoin and Ethereum right now. So Bitcoin, already talked about it, not many resistances overhead. And if we were to, let's talk about, worst case scenario, or not worst case scenario, but let's say we don't get follow through on this bull break because we're breaking it with hourly RSI overbought, 15-minute RSI torqued, 5-minute RSI overbought on the break. Say we don't see follow through, then it's kind of just back to the same thing that we've been watching of this tightening range. So it'll be all about the higher lows. If we look here, we've had higher lows, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. So as long as those higher lows continue to form, then in general, bulls are fine. Obviously, everybody wants it just to go right now. But if we don't get that, it's not the end of the world. Bears would have to take out daily higher lows if they were really going to say, all right, we are actually going to tighten up on the weekly here. And something that Bitcoin bulls like to see is that the broad market is holding on. We had a lot of uncertainty last week with weekly, a lot of uncertainty. Weekly consolidation is always scary in the broad market just because it's designed to go up. So once it goes down, you need to see no rotation for it to go down. It's always a little fearful. And after breaking to new highs without follow through, it was a little uncertain there. But really, the end of Friday kind of calmed things. So we're in a bit of a tweener space here, though, in the broad market. And we've got to keep an eye on it because we've got XLF and small caps weak, and we've got tech, and I'm assuming semiconductors still strong. Semis are kind of in the middle there. QQQ is definitely the strongest on this move. But if we look at IWM, we've gone to new lows. So that does increase the odds that others will follow. But at this point, we're not seeing that yet. And if we were to see any legitimate fear in the broad market, that would most likely bleed over into the crypto space. So bulls liking what they're seeing in the broad market in general. Ultimately, it is continued rotation. And same thing as with the crypto space. In the broad market, if you're seeing rotation, everything is peachy keen in the bigger picture there. So we'll see what we get. Do we see follow through and end up getting through 71 or 72K and look to test all-time highs? Or do we ultimately stay within the range of, really, it's just these 3 days? 1 day up, 3 days down, and we've been within that for, 10 days plus now at this point. So let's look at ETH USD. We can see very different look here. It's just a daily equilibrium. Low, high, higher low, lower high. Resistance is 3,850. We got bulls trying to shape up a higher low now, but much weaker. And, why is ETH weaker? If you remember, when on the day of the ETF approval, we're talking about ETH BTC. And the technical setup there that could have that move just be a bit of a flash in the pan. And for the folks paying attention, you'll know that was the monthly 12 EMA, which is now acting as resistance yet again. And, in the chart, guys, you know what they call me? They call me the fun sponge because, I'll come in and I'll be like, hey, I know it's all great, but we got to watch out for the monthly 12 EMA. And I will say the stats on when I get called a fun sponge, they don't favor the spongers. So, call me a fun sponge for being cautious up here against monthly 12 EMA, but we just got to look at this stuff objectively all the time. And I didn't like YOLO win short or something like that. But then as soon as we see the higher high, no follow through, pull back to here, then we knew we had a daily head and shoulders. And that's kind of just the piecing together of your, the elements of what makes a trade. First, you need location. Then you need some type of pattern on a smaller time frame. This had the full package, and now we've got a daily downtrend on ETH BTC. So does this mean the show is over? Absolutely not. And we knew that ultimately we need a weekly uptrend in ETH BTC if we're going to say that this time is different from this time and from this time and ultimately really from that time. So we knew we needed weekly consolidation. We've got it underway now. So now it's all about watching retracement size. Bulls ideally want to hold 52.21 on ETH BTC. That's the 382 retrace. The true line in the sand is the 0.5 retrace at 50.69. But the quicker that bulls can shape up a higher low here, the better, because that will increase the odds that they can go ahead, get a weekly uptrend, get over monthly 12 EMA, and show us some more sustained shift. So obviously we're still waiting for details on the Ethereum ETFs, when they're going to start trading, yada, 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 all that jazz. As far as I know, there's nothing new that is concrete in that regard. If that is not accurate, someone please shout it out in the chat. But yeah, just watching this daily downtrend. And as long as the daily downtrend is intact on ETH BTC, then ETH USD is going to be relatively weak. So just watching this daily EQ, if ETH USD bulls hold daily 12 EMA, they're fine, bigger picture. They're not seeing any weekly consolidation. If they lose that daily 12 EMA, if this tightening range breaks to the downside, then we'll be looking for a weekly higher low. We'll say anything over 28.14 would be one. And that is that. If this tightening range breaks to the upside, then we're looking up to monthly resistance, highest level in multiple years, 4,093. And yeah, no, that's officially that. Not a lot going on. You got to respect that when you're in a sideways range, you have to trade it like a sideways range. I basically have a trending action playbook and a balance sideways range playbook. If you deploy your balance range playbook on a trending name, it's not going to work. If you deploy your trending playbook on a balance name, it's not going to work. And ultimately, the balance playbook is very straightforward. It's bears looking short off the highs, bulls looking long off the lows, and it works until it doesn't. And on that note, looking back at Bitcoin, aggressive bears or hedgers or whatever are kind of looking at this and saying, all right, we're breaking resistance in extended conditions. Maybe I want to hedge up my crap. So it's always something to consider when you've got good risk to reward for it. And, a lot of people now are like, that Bitcoin's putting in a 2% day or whatever, like, oh, how do I get a position? You got to really try to be on top of this stuff because it's so much easier to get a position when we're near support, we know we're in an equilibrium, and your risk to reward is better. And, now you've already sold some, you're risk free, and if the show goes on, you got your ticket. But, now at this point, entries are a little more tedious because ultimately risk to reward favors bear entries up here. So if you're a bull, I'd be looking for a 4-hour higher low at the earliest here. I mean, if you're an active day trader, you can certainly be, playing this minutia and looking for a 15-minute higher low and have it go on. But, when you're coming from hourly overbought, looking for that first 15-minute higher low after that, it's a bit aggressive. It's a bit aggressive. So let's see. LTC, is there anything to talk about? Nope, there is not. We've just got a little dinky daily downtrend, kind of falling wedgy, and you'll actually see a decent number of alts that have this like kind of sloppy falling wedge where like lower lows aren't getting follow through, but bulls aren't getting on offense. And until, I would assume, either until Bitcoin like absolutely rips or Bitcoin dominance starts coming down, that these alts are kind of just going to meander along. So really not a lot to say there. Let's see, who is sexy? BNB. Oh, so sexy. We've been talking about it for a while. Volatility is going to be coming on the break. We've had this long time tightening range. We got the break. We got the volatility up 7.5% here today, breaking our first level back here from 2021 November. And now we're looking at the May all-time highs. That is that on BNB. So it's always nice when a coin shows you who it is. By holding on strong. Look at this BNB chart, how it just stuck sideways. And, look what Bitcoin did during some of that. So it showed us it was strong, it tightened up, and now we got the break, we got the volatility, we got the follow through. You love to see it. So what's our guide here? We've got a 4-hour uptrend, 4-hour 12 EMA support. We know we'll have a lot of room for a daily higher low. And we've just got an hourly stair step. This is probably just 5-minute 12 EMA rider. No, the odd case of the 10-minute 12 EMA rider. So it'll just be the zoom out game. And if you're looking to, again, hopefully if you're looking to get in BNB, you're already in BNB because we've been talking about it for weeks, and it's a lot easier to make an entry with good risk to reward when you're tightening up like that than trying to buy a dip after a big move like that. Does it mean you can't buy a dip? No, absolutely not. You can buy a dip. You just got to know that the smaller the time frame of the dip you go for, the more aggressive. And we always want to be aware of, am I being aggressive or am I, being conservative? So let's see. Most aggressive bulls will be looking for a 15-minute higher low. We'll just call it a 15-minute 12 EMA rider. We won't get weird with the 10, but 15-minute uptrend guide. Aggressive bulls are looking for that, but as we get pretty torqued on the hourly, perhaps want to chill out on being aggressive. And, then more patient, we're going to look for an hourly higher low, even more patient, looking for a 4-hour higher low, and even more patient, looking for a daily higher low. So you can be using backburners to target location, and backburners have the highest success rate when it's in conjunction with an EMA on a larger time frame there. So on the note of tightening ranges and, the time to make entries is within the tightening range. It's got favorable risk to reward, all that jazz. Look at FET. FET is weak. FET is weak. It broke bull without much follow through. It's petering out down here. Does it look good? No, it doesn't look good, but we don't need to know that this is going to break bull or anything like that. We just need to manage our risk. And a name like FET right now, it's chilling, and you've got a low risk, high reward opportunity to try to look for FET bulls to, I don't know, maybe do what Jasmine did. That's actually quite similar. Go up, just ride in the weekly 12 EMA sideways. Where's Jasmine? Where's Jasmine? Go up, ride the weekly 12 EMA sideways, and then you go. So you can make entries after. And if that's your style, that's fine. But my style is definitely just all about risk and reward, accepting the uncertainty and looking for a low risk, high reward opportunity. And, FET's not unique in the sense that we've got this tightening range. We got a whole freaking slew of them here on the watch list. But what makes FET interesting is because it's up near all-time highs. So keep an eye on FET. Who else we got kind of close to all-time highs? AKRM, where are you? Might be, I suppose I can type it in manually. AKRM US. Is this it? I guess. I thought it was on Binance. We won't waste time, but yeah, this is it. So, we're close to all-time highs. We've got a daily tightening range. We've got relative strength. We're testing resistance, and only marginally I'd be interested in this chart on its own. We've got a very clear zone of resistance. Bears tried to push below, couldn't really get anywhere, but it's nice we have the recent playbook of Bonk just doing the same thing here. The chart is so similar. You come down, you come up, you got your wall of resistance, you tighten up, and then we went and got the bull break there. So on that note, Bonk's still struggling. But if we look at that chart, and we go back and look at that chart, this is a little more drawn out, but pretty similar. When you got a clear wall of resistance, everybody's playing off of it. When you break something like that, that's where you can get some follow through. So Sol, another tightening ranger. And this tightening range is, if it breaks bear, we're getting weekly consolidation, potential 2-week lower high shaping up. If it breaks bull, the show goes on the road. Link looking like it's maybe ready for some weekly consolidation, losing daily 12 EMA for the first time here in a minute, but we're still a good bit away from weekly consolidation. But again, can't lose track that a 2-week lower high compared to 2286 would not be surprising. We do have increasing bull volume on the 2-week time frame. We got a lot of time left on this candle. We'll see what that looks like. And that's important because we know that if you're going to see the less likely scenario play out, it's likely going to come on the heels of increasing volume. So what else we got? Let's look at Jasmy. So Jasmy is exactly what FET bulls want to see. Maybe AIOZ bulls, same. What's AIOZ doing? Yeah, AIOZ, same. AIOZ's already done it. It's not like this is like some unique thing. We see this all the time. You get a big move up, you go sideways, you hold your EMAs, you keep it healthy, and then you take your next leg. So Jasmy, perfect example of that. Tighten up for a few months, got the bull break, and now we've got a 4-hour uptrend guide. Not quite an EMA rider, and bears tried with some double shoulder, head and shoulder, but couldn't break support, and bulls kept the show on the road. So just 4-hour stair step now, lots of room for a 4-hour higher low. Daily stair step, tons of room for a daily higher low. Hourly backburner, definitely going to be on watch here. And again, you can be trying smaller time frame backburners, but the smaller the time frame, the more aggressive. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with being aggressive. You just need to know that you're being aggressive so that you are in the right frame of mind to manage the trade. Like, you don't want to, I guess what would a good example be? Like, if you're like blindfolded and someone tells you to like walk forward and you're like walking across some train tracks and they're watching you and they tell you to walk forward and you walk across and you make it or whatever, but there was like a train barreling down, bear with me, obviously you'd hear it, but this and that. But if you're going to try to cross in front of a train, you want to know that like you're doing something crazy so that you can have all of your whereabouts. Maybe not the best analogy, but just in general, if you're going to be aggressive, you want to know that you're being aggressive. And if you're going to be aggressive and it doesn't work, you got to stop out, because you can try the 15-minute, the hourly, and the 4-hour and say, I want to be aggressive, medium, and conservative. That's fine. You can do them all. But if your aggressive one failed, then you need to stop out of the aggressive one. You don't want to be like Harold Hide the Pain 5-minute oversold gang where you're scaling in for 5-minute oversold and then a day later you're adding into hourly oversold, and that's not what you want to do. So yeah, Jasmy just keeping the show on the road. And I think that's all I'm really looking at here. Let's see what y'all got going on. Martin Hennington, we live, my dude. Ryan V, the amount of bear posts on BNB in October was through the roof. Yearly bull flag in play. Yeah, that's typically how it goes, isn't it? Typically how it goes. Let's see, when was October? Bear post in October. What month is it? What year is it? Oh yeah, that's down in here. Down in there. Yearly bull flag definitely in play. I mean, seems like it would be crazy for it not to confirm at this point. That being said, it's always a little tough to get super bullish right below resistance. But when you've got a tightening range that's been tightening up like that, it can give you a little more ammo to be confident looking for a big move up there. What's coin doing today? Just out of curiosity. Coin daily higher low set, just a scraggly daily uptrend. Let's see, Max. Hi, Joey. Any plans to bring affordable membership plans for Chart Guys Slack membership? For example, a read-only Slack at a lower price, affordable for folks outside the U.S. and developing countries. Yeah, we have certainly talked about some stuff in that regard. We've been really limited with Slack because we can only do so much within that, but we got some stuff going on behind the scenes that may open up some doors for something like that. And if you DM me on Twitter, I mean, I don't know what you got going on and whatnot, but if you DM me on Twitter, we can, get you a coupon for something. So at junglefunk_, shoot me a DM, prove your identity as Max, and we'll see what we can do now with what we got. And another note, and this is not official yet, so don't tell anybody, but we're going to be doing some free trials open to everybody, maybe 2 weeks, 2 weeks or something like that. So those will be read only and you'll be able to get a little taste. All right, let's look at IRAN. IRAN USDT. IRAN. Is this not a crypto coin? Yeah, only looking at crypto coins here right now. We'll do it real quick. I just can't not look at these things. So it's actually kind of a weird looking chart. Quarterly's just slinking on up. We won't be surprised to see a 6-month lower high, but we've got a monthly uptrend coming to test the highest levels in quite some time. Got a weekly stair step as we come into these levels and weekly overbought. It's actually another environment ripe for a lack of follow through if we're to break above that. And daily uptrend. So daily overbought, weekly overbought, testing resistance. I'd be kind of surprised to see it get much follow through. All right, ERG USDT, is it still alive? Let's see. Let's check for pulse. Ooh. I mean, technically it's alive, but when you got everybody else in the space, at least off of their lows, this is quite a troubling look. From March till now, it's just been struggling. You get a big pop yesterday, bleed it all right back immediately. So let's find an EMA rider and just work with that. So 2-day 12 EMA. ERG USDT will start breathing on its own without a ventilator if it can get over 2-day 12 EMA and stay over. And then, got to get over a weekly 12 EMA after that. It's just a zoom out game when you got something as wrecked as this. So a few coins have bled back their late winter moves quite like this. All right. Let's see. What up, Dr. Fell? You bought alive. Right on. I don't know what that means, but congratulations. Yeah, I already looked at ETH, Bob. Geez, if you go back to the beginning. Oh, RFox. I haven't looked at RFox in quite some time. We'll just do the, another one where it's like if you're down at the lows like this, it's almost tough to even look at it. I mean, obviously it's tough to look at it. You got monthly 12 EMA resistance. Nothing's shifting until we get over that. We're not challenging monthly 12 EMA until we get over weekly 12 EMA, and the relative weakness is palpable. Let's see. Ippy Man Made 500 bucks today thanks to the chart guys. That is awesome to hear. But it is worth noting that, $100 to some folks is definitely a lot. When I joined the chart guys, my net worth was 5,000 bucks, and I was living off of my account because I decided to just be like, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do like full-time student of chart guys, student of the markets, and I'll either lose this 5,000 bucks, go get a regular job, or I will, make it on and live to trade another day for many, many days. And, at that point, I'm renting, I've got utilities, I've got a phone bill, I got all this stuff. I've got 5,000 bucks that I am a noob trader, don't know what I'm doing, and needed to like limp it along. So my Chart Guys membership, I put on a credit card for like a year, because I like 500 bucks was, or 100 bucks is huge to me. So everybody's in different situations, but the point there is that if you can string it together and make it happen, there's so much opportunity in the chart guys. If we just pull this over, we got all these channels. Gen Chat is popping, bunch of different posts, a bunch of different setups. Dan, I know everybody misses Dan. He's here most every day. Marijuana sector, obviously a little ugly right now. Community where we kind of just have fun. Oh, Dan up to some internet shenanigans, that crazy boy. But yeah, and then obviously our crypto channels, stuff like this. Ryan, who's in chat here, posting Falling Wedge crew. And, here you can come into this thread, AVAX, ETC, SATs, some nice falling wedges. And if you can nail one of these, you can likely pay a good chunk of some membership and kind of put yourself on the prove it grind, get a monthly and say, all right, first 100 bucks I make is going to next month, and then go from there. But either way, message me on Twitter, Max, and we can at least get you like 50% off for 1 month or something like that. All right, Link BTC chart. Link BTC chart is kind of struggling here. After that triple top or slight bull break without follow through, we came down, we're testing support. Bull's trying to basically just keep us in a tightening range here, but struggling to see follow through. And that is because, we do have a weekly uptrend. Basically, bulls need to continue the weekly uptrend to try to work their way to the upper part of this sideways range and bring Link back onto the map. But looking at this point, like weekly consolidation shaping up, and this is a point towards Link USD seeing weekly consolidation shape up. Already losing the daily 12 EMA. We know Link USD is close, kind of on it at the moment. But, this is what I call ratio divergence. When your ratio chart is looking the same as your USD pairing and then it starts doing something different, that shifts the odds of what you've got incoming potentially. And, we've got the same thing with ETH. Looks pretty similar to ETH USD for a good bit of that. And now ETH BTC's, casting some red flags there. All right. Let's see. Pepe. So Pepe is a little daily tightening range here. EQ high, low, lower high, higher low, lower high. Bulls trying to form a higher low. If this tightening range breaks to the upside, the all-time high show continues. Weekly stair step remains intact. If it breaks to the downside, then we've got weekly consolidation. Bulls will want to continue to hold that weekly 12 EMA. And that is pretty much that. Nice and simple there. Let's see. Tomato Ippy Man, thank you for that. Tomato says, how do you pyramid scale into your existing open positions? Any techniques you use to increase the position size gradually as the trade starts working? It's just like adding on backburners or adding on higher lows. There's kind of two schools of thought. Typically, I like to front load my size and then I'm like scaling out. But I definitely want to develop the skills to be, adding to those winning positions. And you just got to treat it like a separate trade, same way that you would anything else. So if you get in on like daily oversold and then we get up a bounce going and then we're riding 4 hour 12 EMA, you can say each 4-hour 12 EMA test, you're going to try to treat it as its own trade. If that add biffs it, you stop that out and only lose a little bit of your cost basis. But yeah, that's definitely, that's not typically how Dan and I do things, but both of us are trying to get better at it. He's doing a much better job than I am with it. Like I was in another trading group early in my career alongside the chart guys, and they had the complete opposite philosophy where you started small so that if you were wrong, you really didn't lose a lot. And then as the trade worked in your favor, you would add on the next technical signals, and they would just keep adding a position, adding a position, adding a position until, basically because as the market's showing you that the trade's working in your favor, your expectancy on the trade rises. So if the expectancy on the trade is higher, then that warrants more risk being put on for it. So there's definitely something to that. But the biggest thing, treat it as its own trade and don't think about it too much. Let's see, Myro USDT is the same as Fetch. Maybe it's what Fetch bulls want to do, because Fetch is, if I'm thinking of the right thing, right? Yeah, Fetch is up at the highs here. Quite a different look. Quite a different look at this point. But Myro's like Sol. You had the pullback kind of sideways and then the move up, and it's like, are we getting a 2-week lower high or not? If we look at Myro like that, and then we look at Sol, that's kind of similar there. You come down, you go sideways, you get the move up. Are we getting the weekly lower high, or is the show going to go on? We did cover Jasmy Duncan. We will talk about RNDR real quick because I'm shocked. This freaking base of support that we've been talking about here is still holding. So it works until it doesn't. The bulls keep playing off of it, and it's the clear bear signal if it breaks, and we're just sideways up here until that changes. So not a ton to say about RNDR. And, this is actually decently similar to Myro and Sol as well, where it's like big move down, sideways for a little bit, nice move up, and then are we going to get weekly consolidation, or is the show going to go on? But now a month of just dinging that 975-ish level is pretty remarkable. Let's see, MSTR and the Bitcoin miners. They're kind of just all chilling. I don't, when there's action like this, it's sloppy. It's not a lot of volatility. We're just sideways. I don't have many thoughts. When we're trending, I will trade these things a lot. But when we're sideways, I don't have much interest. Bigger picture, the question on Mara is, are we going to get this like inverse head and shoulders type deal to really shift some momentum? But not a lot going on. MSTR pretty much just does what Bitcoin does. So not a ton of thoughts on that are different from Bitcoin. And then Riot, weaker than Mara, like a 3-day EQ. CLSK was the golden boy for quite some time, but now it's just sideways. You can probably call that a 3-day EQ. So everything is just tightening up. Place your bets within. If you're bullish on the miners, CLSK, what's your risk to try to get a position off the ground here? It's not a lot. It's not a lot. Yeah, thank you for that, Duncan. Hit the like button, please, so Dan doesn't fire me. If you like the content and you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. If you hate it, you can unsubscribe. And that is that. Follow me on Twitter, junglefunk_, and be on the lookout for those free trials. And seriously, don't tell anybody I said anything, because I don't think we're supposed to start talking about it. But what damage can it do? It's going to be pretty sweet. It's going to be pretty sweet. Max, DM me on Twitter. And let's see if Bitcoin bulls can see follow through to all-time highs, or if we just continue to tighten up and things stay lame. Keep an eye on the broad market. And that's that. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you Thursday for another stream, and we'll follow through on, how's this shake out from here? How's this shake out from here? Bitcoin testing the 15-minute 12 EMA, and then, as I was saying, you can play that. But when you're coming from hourly RSI overbought like that, it's aggressive. So probably 4-hour 12 EMA the next spot. And at this point, not much follow through. Not much follow through. If this 4-hour consolidation is unhealthy, then that will be a point in favor for just staying range bound, and we'll continue to watch these higher lows, because even if we don't see follow through and stay range bound, bulls are fine as long as they keep higher lows intact. All right, for real, I'm out. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time.